welcome to Varsity News on the Newfane Sports Network. I'm here with my co-host and varsity basketball coach, Coach Klumpp. Coach, thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So how many years have you been a coach at Newfane, and tell us about your staff?
Okay, so this is my 13th year at the varsity level. Before that, 9 on the JV. And my staff includes, legendary Hall of Fame coach Pete Dickinson, and recently retired, and our old JV coach, Jeff Nealon, which is a huge add for us. He knows our program. He knows everything that we do, so it was a blessing to get him on the staff.
So the season started a little differently for you, didn't it?
Yes. My wife and I welcomed our second girl, Delaney Jo Klumpp. And so things at the beginning of the season were a little bit of difficult terrain, missed a little bit of time, but luckily for us, Pete Dickinson and Jeff Nealon are very experienced coaches. They knew exactly what we wanted to accomplish through the time off, and as well as having a senior-led team, it helped out a lot. They're super resilient. We're switching schedules around for practices, so a lot of credit to them and their parents for helping us out in that situation. So yeah, it did started out a little different in our house.
Well, how'd you prepare for the season?
Nothing was really different for us this summer. I watched a lot of Ted Lasso to become a better coach personally.
Love that show.
But us as players, we traveled up to Lancaster, where we played an extremely difficult schedule full of AA teams much bigger than our size, and we did very well competing there. Got together in the mornings, got together in the afternoons to shoot and play, and then now it's season's here.
So the 2023-2024 basketball season is here. Could you tell us a little bit about your squad?
Yeah, our squad has 3 players that have played a ton of minutes over the last 3 years. Yeah. Ben Dickinson, Nate Snow, and Landon Brayman, and they've done a fantastic job. Yep. 3 names that you'll probably see on our record board after they graduate. Yeah. Another senior who has played a ton of minutes also is Connor Kortomach. And last year you asked me if I had a breakout player for the year. His name was my answer, and he certainly did. He played wonderful last year, and he's playing great at the beginning of the year to start. Another senior is Luke Emmons. He's played very well so far. And then to wrap up our seniors is C.J. Nagel. He's a sharpshooter, and our defensive standout is Cam Odette. Our juniors are Miles Checkeye and Ben Trotter, and we have 2 sophomores up in Braden Seitz and Matt Capon.
Yeah. Do you have any captains?
Yeah, last year was the first year in a while that I did assign a captain. It was Landon Brayman, and this year I added Nate Snow and Ben to that crew. So all 3 of those are our captains this year.
All right, so Champions Tip-Off Tournament that we've done the last 2 years, but you just had a tough loss at Niagara-Wheatfield a couple nights ago. How does that feel for you?
Those are great learning experiences. I know you had my brother on talking about his big win in Grand Island. And again, no matter win or lose, we knew at the beginning of the game we had a great feel about what we wanted to accomplish, and we knew that it would be like a sectional semifinal sort of game, and it certainly was.
It was good.
Back and forth. We played well in spurts. And then there's just a few things to learn from the game, and that's all. And that's why you play those games. Yeah. So overall, we're moving in the right direction, I think. And, we've got 30, 40 practices and 20 games to be prepared for the postseason.
You can't say Connor for this question.
Okay.
Could you give us a player or 2 that could break out?
Breakout players. Yep. Okay, I can't say Connor. Well, one that I think has had a tremendous start to the season already has been Luke Emmons. Luke Emmons put a lot of work in the weight room. He kind of took that Evan Myers sort of off-season. I'm going to get into the weight room. I'm going to get bigger and stronger, and it certainly has paid off for him. Yeah. And then 2 other ones that have played pretty well, even though that they're sophomores, Matt Capon and Braden Seitz, are just very good athletes. They certainly don't look like they're sophomores out there. They're going through some learning pains on decision-making, but I feel that those 3 are certainly guys that are looking to break out this year.
Yeah. So can you give us like a thing that maybe basketball watchers at home, the average fan, might not see that's pretty difficult? Could you tell us why they wouldn't understand it?
So something difficult as a coach, maybe someone else might not understand how difficult it is. Subbing is certainly something that is difficult because getting a feel for the sub, when they should come in, when they should come out, the flow of the game. But I think people know that. I think my answer would be trying to stay present in the moment.
Yeah.
No matter how bad your team is playing or how good, like the other night when Landon made the shot to tie the game with no seconds left to send us into overtime. Of course, I wanted to sprint out on the court, pick him up, and throw him in the air like my toddler at home. But I couldn't.
It wasn't
you know,
over.
yeah, I had to stay present in the moment. I had to think ahead of the next steps of what we wanted to do. And I think that's difficult as a coach. Like sometimes I get a little jealous because football, you can kind of get that emotion, let it all out in certain sense because the game's sort of stopping. But for basketball, it's so fast-paced and it's tough to stay present no matter if good things are going on or bad things are going on. So that's a good question.
Yeah. Well, the NO League again this year. Could you give us a preview of what it will look like as former champs?
Yeah. I'll tell you this. The Akron Tigers are extremely well coached. They are extremely skilled, and they will be a name that's going to pop up in the top 10 in Western New York. Basketball heads around Western New York are going to start to notice this team, and they're going to be very, very difficult to beat. Yeah. Barker has been a team that has played us extremely well last year and previous years. They've got a great coach in Jake Haight. And then all the rest of the teams, they're always there scrapping and clawing. Yeah. I think overall, like our league is extremely well coached. It's not to say that other leagues in the area are not, but I think for as small as our schools are, the coaching is just tremendous, and that's what keeps every team, competitive, and no team ever really gets blown out.
Well, Coach, that was my last question. Thank you for joining me, and good luck.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.